What if Deku had God? No way. I just stabbed myself in the nail. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. It's rusted. It's rusted. It just took me right in the foot. Just kidding. Barely missed because I felt it. But it did go through my sandal. And it really stung whenever it hit my foot. Yeah. This probably sounds horrible, but I'm still gonna use it. Dun 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 dun. Okay, if you don't hit that like button, you'll hear that again if you didn't like it. But yeah, okay, so we just left off showing off Deku's moves after a couple years of training with him. So yeah. He has pretty much Fate State Night moves. If you just watch the last part of the episode, you'll learn most of his abilities. But yeah. But, so, he would land with the sludge villain attacking him, and the sludge villain is a girl. Be like, it's a dude, he can't fight back. It's rushing at him, but Deku would just say barrier. He doesn't really have to say barrier, he can just stick out his hand. He just sticks out his hand making a barrier. And he would hit it. But this one, Deku All Might would crash down saying, Sludge Villain, take this! Oh, Detroit Smash! Hitting him, splatting him. This one, he would see the barrier, All Might will, and he will see Deku and be like, who used his quirk? And he would point in a different direction. He'll be like, okay then. Because in this one, only girls have quirks, except All Might because it was given to him. Any natural quirk. And if you guys know that theory about the laser guy's quirk, I'm not using that. So yeah. So he would just go off walking. But he would jump off because he still has a time limit. But I'll say he doesn't turn frail. I'll just say he doesn't look the same. He kind of just looks he doesn't look as buff, but he looks like a normal dude. Where he doesn't look like an weird old man. But yeah. So he would jump off thinking that the head had green hair. And did I see blonde highlights, baby, whatever. And he would jump off being like, I must hide before people see me de-transform. He would hide and stop, but Deku wouldn't really care. And that last battle was supposed to be his testing day. And it had to be like him, day that he leaves and stuff. And he's not a villain because Gargantua doesn't seem to be a villain to me. He kind of just looks like a dude that just listens to them for no reason. He doesn't really listen, he just goes where he wants to go. So that's the logic I'm going to use in this. So yeah. He would be like, what should I do? And be walking and be like, I'm really bored. And I can't just go around and attacking villains or attacking heroes, but that would just be lame. And stuff. And I'll be like, he is smart, so he'd be like, is there a UA school or a hero school? And he'd be like, yeah, there's several of them, but the closest one here is called UA, right? Isn't that like the strongest school? He'd be like, yeah, I'll just go there. But he says, I'd say he looks up it by going like a cafe with computers. And his clothes are all ripped up. So people are looking at him like, why is that kid's cool? Why does his clothes look like that? And they will flow in the air, kind of like this picture that you see on it, with like kind of like a cloak behind it. And he has got clothes over the year. I would say he just stole clothes from like a nearby shop. And it's just like a hoodie, but it got completely torn off about the fight and all that. And he got punched in the stomach, but I'll just say that it was so ripped up that he looks at his clothes and he's like, there's a big hole in the middle. He would go to the store, but he would just kind of dash through it, disappearing by going in the shadows and stealing a jacket. But once he gets it, he would look at it and he'd be like, I don't really like this. And we'd grab the sleeves, rip them off, and he would kind of make the lower cloak because he likes all his joints to be free and stuff. And he'd still be walking. He'll look it up. He sees that he has to go to school. So he would go on like a testing school to get your like middle school, I don't know. He just goes on a quick test and passes for 8th grade. And passes for the mock test and all that. And he would pass. And he would be enrolled into U. He already tried to go to UA. Since it's an online school, there's no specific place that they have to go. And stuff like that. If you're wondering who gets All Might's quirk, All Might's kind of hoping that he can find somebody with the same will as him. And he's thinking that he should give it to a dude, but he thinks that would be weird if the only guy with the quirk and another guy with the quirk shows up with the same quirk. It would look weird. So he's like, I should just give it to Mirio, kid that Night Eye suggested to me. Or Nitrous, I don't know what you can call him. I just call him Night Eye, or her Night Eye. But Deku would just write down his quirk as God, and he would go to the entrance exam. He would literally just jump in. I'll say sneaking through a window, kind of hopping down. I'll say appearing in front of Ida because there's a seat. Randomly, Ida would see a black figure landing and a hoodie put on top of him. Ida would be like, I should tell this girl what she shouldn't do, and say that is rude and where'd you come from. Well, this is whenever you hear, I'll say, Bakugo in the back yelling at a kid from his school that went, see, that's you're worthless. You're a D. You're a side hero or sidekick at best for no unknown hero. And stuff like that. Ida would yell at him, and he would talk about the whole thing. They would do the whole test and stuff. And Deku would get 100%, but people would be looking at him because they wouldn't know what gender he is because he has a cloak on him and stuff. But they'd be like, why does her clothes look like that? But this is whenever he would hand in the test with the girl up there saying, is that a dude? But he instantly jump off, going outside quickly. And people will be like, that's pretty fast. What type of quirk does he have? Almost looked like he was gliding. And he would get there, wait for everybody. Everybody get there, but he is in the way back. Not really caring. And he'll say, I'll just stay back here because I can jump over all of them. And he says I should position myself where there's less people, or just in case somebody's fast and they catch up and don't just jump on top of them. So he would go towards the left of him, looking like he's going up to, what's her name? Uraraka. And Ito-chan would go up like, don't mess with her. And you try and get her out of focus. That's whenever Deku wouldn't really look at him, saying, I'm not going towards her, I'm just going to the left. And he'd be like, why would you even do that? There's no point. He'd be like, you're just trying to interrupt her. And he would just be like, well, if I was going to talk to her over there, doesn't she seem nervous? Not concentrating? And Ida would look at her, and he'd be like, no, I'm not paying attention. He would go back to grab him, or grab her, or to her, it's her, so, but he would see her all the way over there, or him, all the way standing up there, and he'd be like, that was fast. This whenever you hear him say, I might say, go, follow her. There's no 1, 2, 3 in real battle. That's when Ida or everybody else would see the dude with the girl with the black cloak running, already kicked, I'll say 5 robots because they're flying into each other, exploding. And he doesn't have any shoes. So they're like, how that hurt? He just hit that robot with his bare feet. And they would get sent flying. He would flip, running around, grabbing robots. I'll say even making like spikes in his hands, like appearing, and he's stabbing into them. And I'll say Ida notices that he has some kind of creation quirk, it looks like, because he's creating metal spikes and throwing them into them. He'll be taking out a few. This is where he would start running even faster, going further back. And he's already way faster than Ida, so he would probably go really fast. This is whenever everybody knows by now, seeing him create stuff, be like creation quirk. He would stick out his hand, and he would be like gun. How his creation quirk works is his own imagination, nothing else. If he really wanted to, he can probably make a tank, because it automatically happens, because I don't know why, just because, but he would reach out his hand and say gun, and that's whenever a gun would come. But they would be like, why does he have a gun? Can he shoot? He would just shoot in the air, unloading like 12 bullets. Be like, why he do that? This is whenever they would see all these robots start exploding with zooming bullets hitting them, with them exploding with like an impact bullets. And they're like, can he manipulate anything he creates? Which he can. You guys were wondering, because I said it was like Fate Stay Night creation. He was like, whatever, I'm done. Running off, he would jump up, going onto a building. And this is whenever he would reach out take his other hand out of the cloak, make it another gun. And this is whenever he would say extended mag, which what people see is a row of bullets up here, all over the building, with him shooting, this time actually aiming, hitting the robot. And they notice these are not even exploding bullets, he's actually just shooting them. And these are automatic, so because he created an automatic pistol. And he would just start hitting them and exploding them, and until everybody knows all his ammo's gone. And he would just throw his guns down with them hitting the ground, disappearing. He would drop down, running at them again. They're expecting him to stab spikes in them again, but this is where he would touch one with his fingertips and it will explode. This is whenever I'll say some robots shoot astral missiles, because I think they did, but they weren't like destroying missiles. They were like those like airburst missiles that made like a pink explosion. Yeah, he would take his cloak off, putting it over them, and throwing it at a robot, knocking it and destroying it. And that's when they reveal him, a boy, doing all this. And this whenever a couple robots will attack him, with people seeing exactly what he's doing because the cloak was covering most of it. And he would touch them, and they would, instead of bursting this time, I'll say they turn to sand. And people would see this, and they'd be like, just by touch, he turned them into sand. And they'd be like, dude can have a quirk. We know All Might did, so it's not out of the possibilities, but this quirk, there's no other cases. This is when he would stick out his hand, like a boomerang shape, but like a blade boomerang would appear. He will put them together, and he will start spinning them on his tip of his finger, and it looks like a flower to everybody else. And he would just launch his finger frontwards, with it flying, cutting down robots. He has about like 500 points by now, because he's been shooting crap with pretty much the most amazing Almo aimbot in the world. Even if he missed, it probably would have just stopped and lodged itself into one of the robots right next to it. But yeah. So this is whenever it's like 2 minutes left, and we'll cut to Nezel saying, "Now we must put the final test in." Clicking the button, with after a while Deku sees people running, and you hear a cry, hearing some person to him. And you're like, isn't that the girl that somebody accused me to try and distract? And he would just run at it. Let's say he already put on, he doesn't have a cloak again. He's kind of mad about that, so he just has like a black shirt and black pants on him that are ripped. And he would just run, ducking down, Naruto running. He would speed right there to Uraraka, grab her. This one, he would touch the foot of the robot, and he would have pretty much destroyed it by turning it into sand. Or I'll say he turns it to salt this time. And what it does, it makes like a salt, like statue of it. And people are confused. And that's whenever one part of the salt will break the head off, and it would slide apart, hitting the ground with a burst of white stuff, salt. And he would have said air, he would just make like the airwalk thing. And this is whenever a wave of salt will hit the ground, washing over everything. This whenever you touch the salt, people seeing that, turning it to snow. And now he'll be riding on snow. This would hit a couple people, washing them to the end, pretty much. And he would have a rock in his arms, pretty much. And he would set her down. That's whenever recovery girl would come over asking if anybody's hurt. Everybody would be like, we're fine, somehow. Because I'll say Deku was kind of just covering them with debris that was going to hit them with shield. And she would check with Raka. She would probably just have a hurt leg, and she'll be like, let me fix that. Deku would have just touched her, healing her, or just really repairing her. And she'd be like, no, I'm fine. And she goes to thank Deku. And she'll be like, what's your name, boy? And he'll say, this call. She'll be like, I'll call you Deku, because he doesn't answer, because you could do anything. And that would, he would kind of just laugh, and he would just walk away. exiting, and people will be wondering, who is he? And that's whenever I say All Might and them would look over his files, and I just say he came up with a fake name. But I say, just because he's that cool, he would just go up to the surveil area. He would just kind of run. People are looking for his files. He'll just be in the corner, kind of just hiding. He would find his files that just said God, because there's so much that they just put it in the pile for later. I'll say that's why there's like a 2-week time point to where they'll get their whole thing. And Deku would have just grabbed it, swiping his hand over his paper, having his first name named Deku, his last name named Blake, like blank. And he would run out, he would disappear out of the area. And I'll say he found a random address, and he just makes money, and he bought it and paid for like a century worth of payments, buying a house. Never mind about that, because he like bargained the people to give him an actual house because he was too young and stuff, so they just went with it. And he'll put that down. So his actual name will be Deku, because the girl that he knows as Uraraka gave him that name. And I'll say that Gargantua just called him a god all the time, or boy, and stuff like that. But yeah, just where I'll leave it off. These episodes have been longer because I kind of did a lot on his moves. Goodbye, I hope you like this.